Alive, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 001, the very first of Decentral Gamer, an official Decentral Games podcast, where we're going to help you become the very best gamers that you can be. So today on the show, we have Crypto Neighbor. My man,
Hello.
welcome to
Hello.
the show.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here on the first episode. I mean, I assume this is going to be a real banger of a podcast for the future, and I'm excited to see where this goes, man. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for being a decentral gamer, my man.
Yeah.
So let's start off. Just kind of want to give a brief framework for what everybody can expect here. So first, we're going to dive into your story, how you really got here to this place, how you got into crypto. Then we're going to talk about DG specifically, how you got into this beautiful ecosystem that we all play in, literally and figuratively. And then from there, we're going to talk about strategy. We're going to talk about how to be the best gamer that we can be. So take it away, neighbor. Would love to hear your story.
Okay. So for me personally, I was first introduced to crypto. This is a pretty common story. I heard about it 2012, 13. So pretty early on, I had heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the like. But I obviously, and once again, very common, wish I had some Bitcoin. I used it for things I probably shouldn't have, and it's gone now. And I look back on my times, and I'm like, wow, I spent $100,000 on what? $100,000 of today's money on what? Nothing good. But anyways, fast forward. This was right before my timing couldn't have been better. Honestly, I got real fortunate. I think it was about a few months before the pandemic started that I really, because it was January 2 years ago that it started, right? So I think it was maybe that October before I got in, and without going into too much detail, I had a relative pass away and ended up with a windfall of cash. And I decided that I was going to use that for some kind of investment. And crypto, I was thinking, oh, I have S&P. I had it in the S&P for a while. I was doing a bunch of stuff with it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And I put about 70 grand into Cardano at about 20 cents.
Wow.
So the timing couldn't have been better. I got incredibly lucky with my initial jump into crypto. Obviously, I mean, positions are positions. I've diversified since, and I'm much more widespread than I've ever been now. And I think that's a pretty good way to play the game, in my opinion. But I think one of the biggest changes for me was really hearing about DG. The first time I heard about it, it was at about, I think, like 160, 120 bucks. It was really unheard of, even more than it is now. Like, people are now finding out about the beauty that is the DG ecosystem. But even back then, I saw how much potential this project had. Just on first glance, it's a casino. Like, who doesn't want to be a part of the back room of the casino, the owner's table? That's pure profit for most people. So it felt like a dream come true when I had first found DG. Let's see, that must have been a year and a half ago, way before the ice poker or anything. And so I'm a long-term holder of DG now, and one of my first NFTs. I thought NFTs were. I was one of those guys. I was in crypto, and I still didn't believe in NFTs. I thought, these are stupid. What the hell is that? I'm gonna invest in my polygons and my AVAXs, and I'm gonna stick to the projects that are actually, innovating. But then at a certain point, I realized that these NFTs are innovating. Like, this is the innovation, and I was just, I kick myself every day for not believing sooner, because I mean, who knows where the hell I'd be right now. I'd probably be on a yacht at this point, but not quite there yet, unfortunately.
Soon,
yeah.
my friend.
Yeah. I mean, that's the dream, right? But Yeah, so my first NFT purchase was in September, or yeah, September of last year. So it's really quickly become my primary focus too. Um,
Wow.
Especially as far as the DG wearables are concerned. I am still quite dumbfounded how these haven't caught on yet. The APY is ridiculous on these wearables. The initial cost of purchase relative to other NFTs is nothing.
We're
It's
bargain shopping.
floor right now, whereas like a person sells one Bored Ape and they can buy 72 wearables. That is absurd to me. Like I wish I had some Bored Apes to sell immediately for all these wearables. I wish, but um yeah, I mean, I couldn't word it any differently. They truly are my primary focus and where I put the majority of my time currently in crypto. Decentral Games is really just taken over my crypto portfolio in a good way, like in the way where I'm passionate about it, for one, because that's really the number one thing for me. Is I'm not going to invest any significant portion of my time into anything that I don't truly either believe in or am passionate about for another reason. And I've tried explaining this to people. Obviously, we just had the holidays, and as you meet people you didn't never met, and they ask people that you do know that don't know that you're in NFTs are asking you about it, and I really don't like being the guy that's like, NFTs are the future. Like, why aren't you investing? I don't. Not financial advice. I would hate for someone to take my word and invest in something and then it completely screw them and then they come at me about it. That's the last
Mhm.
thing I want. So, but I do explain to people that this is a niche example, but someone currently in Georgia, the country Georgia in Europe, I'm delegating to, and they're making like 20 times the monthly average salary just from playing poker 2 hours or to 4 hours a day. And that's basically their full-time job at this point. Like that is, and to no cost to them is also huge. That's also huge. It's no cost to them. And when I described this to people, it actually clicked. Like the way I was describing it, they said, "Wow, that." I was at a wedding and there was two people that were in their 60s and 70s that were just chatting. We were all drinking together and
Mhm.
just talking about shooting the shit. And I brought this up. They understood within 5 minutes the power that this suddenly holds. They didn't know anything about crypto or NFTs. They had never been talked to about it. But I explained it to them within 10 minutes and they said, "Wow, I mean, that seems like there's a lot of potential there, There seems like there's a lot of potential there." So I think the the longer this goes without an explosion in popularity, the more intense the buildup will be when it finally does happen. And I am honestly terrified for that moment because that means the floor is going to go to like 7 ETH for these things. I'm not even kidding. I
At
am a
least.
complete believer that the diamond hand wearables could easily be worth 100 grand plus in the future. That is my personal belief. I've said that for months and I still kind of hold firm to that every single diamond hands wearable could be worth 100 grand easy. It might even go for the the rarer ones, which I would consider like the original, like the DG Blazer, the first mint set. Those
Mhm.
might end up being the Bored Apes, because Bored Apes, you never know where NFTs could go. The whole NFT market could 10x in the next 2 years, and then suddenly the DG explodes in popularity, and then all of a sudden it's like a 12 ETH floor for these. That is so possible. And when you're in the NFT space, you just know it too. You've seen it. You've seen it happen with every project that you're not involved in. So so yeah, anyone that's in NFTs knows that it's just a fuse waiting to be lit. And I cannot find for the life of me a better play to earn model. I can't. I've looked and I cannot find it. There's I don't maybe you can tell me. I've looked at Axie, I've looked at a few other smaller cap. There was a Gold Rush, there's sandbox games that are play to earn. There's a few, but none of them have the rewards, or they have an incredibly high barrier of entry. Like, you try to make money doing Axie Infinity, good luck right now. Good luck, because that's going to take you months to repay your initial investment at the least.
That's right.
And
That's right.
yeah,
So
so
I
I
want
could
to
just talk on. I could go on and on about it, but yeah,
so I want to hop in here for a
sure,
second
please do. I'm
I
rambling right now. Yeah,
because I think there are a lot of different ways to approach this thing.
sure,
And
sure.
to really to really tackle this from an earnings perspective,
Hmm.
both as a player, as an investor, and really just there's so many ways to skin the cat, right? So
Absolutely.
let's break it down. Like, how did you, when you initially realized what this was, it seems like you were more of an investor
Right.
in the token to begin with. and it,
Absolutely.
se-
Yeah,
and
I
it,
was already in the token. Right. Yeah.
Okay. And
Hmm.
so you saw the potential, you were like, I want to be the house, and you got on board.
Absolutely.
And you were definitely bargain shopping back then. I'm sure that's been, fantastic for the portfolio.
Oh,
As
absolutely.
as it has now progressed, you're seeing other ways to engage, other entry points to get more involved with the ecosystem.
Hmm.
Take me through your mental model. Take me through how you're actually approaching getting more involved with the ecosystem and earning as much as you possibly can from your perspective of, you have some capital,
Right.
and you're looking to get involved, and then we can kind of backtrack from there and be like, okay, you're coming in it from this space, there are other ways as well, but really take us through your thought process here for maximizing your earnings within the
Okay.
DG ecosystem.
Okay. Okay. So I've gone through phases where I have flip flopped between what I think is the ideal way of spending your ice, of just should I hold my ETH for the next drop, or should I just upgrade my wearables as soon as possible to get the max? And yeah, there's a few different, and I've run numbers, and obviously with a fluctuating asset like ICE or ETH, the correct answer changes. And the floor prices fluctuated quite a lot, because when I was first buying these, I was getting them on OpenSea for 0.7 ETH. Like, people would mint them and then immediately flip them as quick as possible. They weren't interested in the poker. They're just doing NFT flips, which is um, honestly not a bad way to play it. There's so many, like you said, there's so many ways to skin it. I've done a few things. One of the most profitable for me was leveling up my wearable, a single wearable, to diamond hands, and then I would list it on OpenSea when there were actually very few diamond hands wearables listed at all. And I sold 3 of them over time for 2.7 ETH each. And this was when the floor was 0.8. So my idea was just that I'm not worried so much about my ICE or my ETH anymore. I'm more concerned with getting the most wearables that I possibly can. And so this was my method. And I'm like hesitant to share it, but I'm going to, because it worked really well for me. So I would sell it for 2.7 ETH. I would buy 2 wearables at floor price. Obviously, it takes about and OpenSea with the fees, they take about 7%, because some goes to the DG treasury too, which is great. So I would get about 2.4 ETH after my sale, buy 2 wearables for about 1.5, 1.6, and then I would use the remainder to buy enough ICE and DG to level up another wearable to diamond hands, and I would have profit left over. So that flip, I did that 3 different times, where I flipped 1 wearable that was diamond hands into 2 level 1 wearables, and then I would buy enough to make another diamond hands once I had the XP in my account. Right. So and my goal is still the same. Stack as many freaking wearables as I can, as quickly as I can. the floor has gone up and it's gone down, and it's a tricky spot right now because I don't know if, and I'm not alone in this. Should I wait for the mint? Should I buy the floor now? I'm kind of wishy-washy about it myself right now. So I don't know what the perfect play is currently, but I do know that I am so glad that I stacked them when I did. You know, I think that has probably been my best move. Oh, and by the way, just to share, I play with one account, and I use usually just one or two wearables for that account, and then I delegate the rest. So I am mostly delegating by a wide margin. I currently have 14 wearables, so it's not insane in my stand. Like, I wish I had 28. You know, I wish I had many more. But 14 is also nothing to be ashamed of right now. And considering I've minted most of them, I mean, just the ROI just on the wearables themselves is actually insane. Considering I minted them for 0.25, and like I said, I sold 3 for 2.7.
That's a pretty nice
I've been winning
transaction.
from every aspect of this wearable situation. It's hard to lose once you're involved, honestly. As long as you have some patience and don't expect the wearable to pay for itself in a day, but expect for, I have so much faith. This is the question I asked myself. Okay, so this wearable takes, if I purely delegate it and I do not play, it'll take, you know, maybe 8 to 10 months or something to pay for itself. I can't remember what the math is currently, but so the question really is DG going to be around for at least that time period? Hell yes. DG will be around through the next bear market. Like, the treasury is insane. These guys are not going anywhere. They're constantly releasing updates, constantly they're so transparent about what they're working on. If you read the Q1 report they just put out 4 or 5 days ago on their website, it's like their blog update. There's so much detail. I read that report for like 20 minutes and reread it because it was just so much good information that just gave me so much faith in the DG ecosystem when I was already a huge believer, and it just reaffirms. That's what they do, is they reaffirm, because they let you know through hard work that they're here to stay. And that is so much confidence that you cannot get in other small cap projects. That is huge in a small cap project. Like, I can't believe it's 400 on CoinMarketCap. It is the most undervalued gaming project on the market, bar none, as far as I can tell.
Absolutely.
I'm once again, I'm rambling. Feel free to stop me, but
Yeah, no.
yeah, those are my big DG, the wearable plays. And I earn probably about, on average right now, I earn about 2,000 to 3,000 ICE a day. That's not my worst day and that's not my best day, you know, but in that pocket, I'm pretty happy with. And what I think I've ran the numbers, and it's something like 200 grand a year or something is the equivalent. And like, just think about that for a second. If you assume that I've minted my 8 wearables that I bought, one of the mints I actually got 3 wearables from.
Wow.
So it's like, just thinking about that, like, okay, so I've minted 10 wearables, 0.25 ETH each, right? That's 2.5 ETH. That's 10 grand. And I'm making almost 200 grand a year in like, where do you get that passive return? Anywhere? Nowhere. I've never, not anywhere in life. I explained this to my girlfriend and she can't believe it, until it's been months now and it's still happening, and she still is just like, this is insane. My roommate is like, you're getting rich off of nothing, and I have to almost agree with him. I'm like, life is crazy, and this is the reality of the situation right now, is that don't sleep on this opportunity. Don't sleep on this opportunity is my number one rule. Don't sleep. Yeah.
So that's actually exactly where I wanted to take this conversation next. Is
Sure.
you're making a killing in this, and it's I mean, it's like a dream come true for people whenever people actually realize and understand like the opportunity, the real opportunity and what's at stake for them. I
Right.
mean, we're talking about retirement money. We're
Yep.
talking about money that literally like you never have to do anything you don't want to do ever again ever for the rest of your life, which is ridiculous. So, why do you think people aren't jumping all over this the way that they should be?
Hmm.
Is it just they haven't figured out the game yet, or they're
Okay.
just not able to like you figured out some sort of secret sauce? And
Okay.
because
Well, that's actually a great point. And maybe this, I didn't really put this out there, but I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer my whole life. I've played when I was 7 years old. My my best friend at the time and his dad loved Texas Hold'em. We would just play for fun when I was 7, 8 years old. I played tons of live poker. I've been on the Hustler Casino live stream. I'm a poker guy, and so maybe that's why this fits so damn perfectly for me, is because buying, flipping, and poker are two all things I'm very well equipped to handle. So for me, this was a no-brainer. I know poker in and out. I don't pretend to be the best in any sense, but uh, there's a lot of newer players, we'll say, on Decentral Games that need to need outside resources to improve their game, because any poker player will tell you the game is hard and it is unforgiving. So let's see. So your question was, why aren't people hopping on the train like I think they should be? I think people either A, don't understand poker. There's negative sentiment towards gambling in general. And I think the NFT scene has that association with it already, where it's just a gamble. So I think maybe people are hesitant to dive into that and say, yeah, this is gambling, gambling. So there could be some of that where there's hesitation to invest in something that is, truly labeled as, gambling, I guess. But I also think that people just don't know about DG. I just don't think the word is quite out there yet. Obviously, like me and every other DG holder throughout this whole metaverse boom that we've been experiencing in the last quarter, we've all just been praying for the day that, DG we wake up and it's at, I guess now it would be, instead of not $600, it'd be $6, like, or 60 cents. I believe that DG, I mean, it's not even about what I believe, because the market cap is barely like half of what the Dow is. And that doesn't make sense to me when we're generating something like $2 to $4 million a month. Dows don't really generate that in a sustainable income. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. The people will find out though eventually. Just like every good secret, it never stays hidden for forever. Um, I mean, people will see this podcast. People will trickle in. People are trickling, and also now the wearables themselves. There's only about 4,000 of them, so we're still in the early stages, and the floodgates haven't been opened for the better, in my opinion. Um, they're building up an ecosystem that's sustainable and reliable, and I think they're doing it right, where they are controlling the influx. Right? They're they have such control over the ecosystem that other play to earn games don't have. Um, DG in particular, I mean, where they can control how many players are even allowed to play the play to earn. And obviously, that number is just going to go up and up and up and up. And that's the goal for this year. So maybe it's just exclusivity. That could be a huge portion of it. Wait till we're at 10,000 active wearables out, and then we'll see people fighting over them. You know, Right now, it's kind of like I assume there's people like me out there which are just snatching up all the good deals whenever they see them, and I'm not out there on Twitter blasting, "Hey, everyone, come buy all these wearables so I don't have any left." So maybe there's a little bit of that going on too. You never know. But
So
in my opinion, this is just a time bomb, and it's just gonna absolutely blow everyone away when it really catches.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. So
Yep.
I think the moral of the story is it's gonna happen.
Hmm.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Absolutely.
And I also actually want to jump back to something interesting that you mentioned about being really particular about like how many players can enter the ecosystem.
Sure. Sure.
And that actually is a brilliant move in my opinion
Hmm.
because it is deploying one of the moves that was perfected by none other than Jeff Bezos himself.
Yeah.
Whatever opinions you may have of the guy,
Uh-huh.
you cannot argue with his business sense.
Nope.
And he is famous
At
for
all.
saying, slow is smooth and
Hmm.
smooth is fast.
Right.
And if you think
Yes.
about the way that this is happening,
Hmm.
we have such a foundation that we're building,
Right.
and we have such strong community,
Yep.
such a strong model, such a
Hmm.
strong ecosystem
Hmm.
that eventually the floodgates are going to get opened in a much bigger way, and we're going to be ready when that happens.
And they're going to be ready. Okay, so for example, like any blooming ecosystem, they had their share of problems and road bumps and everything. I know a lot of people were frustrated with some of the mints, me included, honestly. Some of the mints didn't go as smoothly as possible, but every time they're figuring out what the problem is, they're fixing it, and it's not there next time. Okay, and think about it, like if they said, "Oh, we're gonna release." You think they don't want to release 10,000 wearables for an ETH each? That's free money for these. That they can print, not really print, but they basically can add money to the DAO whenever they want. All they have to do is release wearables. They really want to do that, but they want the ecosystem right first. And they're doing, like you said, they're building slow and steady. Smooth is fast, right? Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, right?
Mhm.
So that's exactly what they're doing. They built the dam, so they're controlling the release of people flowing into the ecosystem, essentially. Um, and I think it can't even be overstated how smart that is, because if they were to release 10,000 NFTs and they had some major problem that they hadn't figured out, they didn't even know it was going to be a problem until they did that release, and suddenly there's all this bad PR. Like, it's one thing if a few hundred people are in the Discord upset because they didn't get to mint. It's another thing if there's 10,000 people who are furious with, like, this is all bullshit, screw DG, mob mentality.
That's right.
We try to avoid that mob mentality. But I just, yeah, it's hard to overstate how well I think they're handling. There's insane demand for these wearables. For the number of people currently involved in the ecosystem, the demand is insane. And it's just, it's going to be dominoes. I mean, I'll find another metaphor, I'm sure, in 20 minutes to describe it, but everything will fall into place. It's just a matter of time. These guys are putting the work in the right areas, and they know they're smart. They know they're smart, but they also know exactly what the heck they're doing. And I think a lot of ecosystems are going to follow their lead. To be honest,
That's
they're
right.
really, they truly are innovating the play to earn DAO ecosystem. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but they really are. They really
Well, you're
are.
right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Hmm.
And one of the interesting things too is the structure of the tokenomics. One of the things that I spend a lot of time thinking about
Hmm.
is how can an in-game currency like ICE,
Hmm.
how can that be sustainably valuable? As we've seen
True.
with something like what Axie did with SLP,
Right.
there's a very straight line down in
Yes.
value because they have not figured that out.
They have.
But we are onto something that I believe, and I've spoken to a lot of projects, a lot of gaming projects,
Okay. All right.
and I've been asking the same question, and the best answer actually came from Miles of how do you build sustainable tokenomics for your play to earn game?
Right.
And
Tough question,
ba-
honestly.
it's a very tough question, especially
Mhm.
because nobody else has figured it out. I say
Mhm.
nobody else because I believe very wholeheartedly that we have figured that out. And the beauty of that is it's going to become the gold standard.
Mhm.
What and I almost see Miles as an economist with what just the genius that's coming out of that man's brain, and
Mhm.
the whole team, of course,
Right.
of course.
Right. Absolutely.
But we all know and
Yeah.
love Miles too.
We do.
Uh,
We do. Yeah.
we do. But just what he's been able to create and concoct, and
Right.
just the level of genius of the tokenomics.
Mhm.
I mean, it's unparalleled, and I really think it's going to become the gold standard for how games release currency and have in-game currency, a dual token system.
Right.
I mean, we're creating in
Right.
real time a playbook for how to
Mhm.
do this the right way.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And anyone out there who is a gamer, I mean, they know, and you've been a gamer for a while, you know that when League of Legends came out, now every single amazingly popular game has followed their lead.
Exactly.
Free to play. And this is just as an example for how when the gold standard is found, everyone else follows it, and they're just as insanely popular. Like Fortnite followed their lead, and look at what happened. And League of Legends is still popular somehow. I don't know.
It's
I don't
it's
know
one of
about
the
all
most
that, but
popular it's one of the most popular
it
games
still is.
in the history of gaming.
Yeah. And when did that release? Like 10 years ago?
20
20,
ish
10, yeah, oh, wow, that's
2007,
almost 11 years
11-ish.
ago. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like you said, it's just once the formula is found and people, it has to be tried and tested, right?
that's right.
It's not enough to just be found. It has to be shown as an example.
That's right.
And we're not quite there as a community to be an example to people. Still aren't as concerned with tokenomics or the logistics as they are market cap of the project.
That's right.
So but the people that do care about those things are out there, and we're finding them one by one. Okay. You are absolutely right. The ICE model they have the most control out of any play to earn model, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as in they can actually make it sustainable. They
That's right.
actually they can control the ICE output, the ICE input. They can, if they need to burn, they can burn. They have full control to keep ICE relevant. They have full control in that. And I just like as a personal idea, in the future, I see an ecosystem where people are playing regular poker with ice, just like an ice table, and then people, and you're wondering where is the price of ice? Where is that going to balance out? Suddenly, you'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars of USDC flowing into ice every single day, and like that. That's just one example of one thing that they could do to make ice actually explode in price whenever they want, really. So yeah, Miles is just a good idea machine as far as I can tell. I don't know the specifics of the team, but clearly he has a lot of smart people by his side too, because these people have really figured it out. And if you can find the flaw in the plan, then you should honestly at him on Twitter. If you can find the fail, the single point of failure where this is all going to go wrong and crumble, at him on Twitter. Honestly, point it out, because I can't find it myself, and I've looked, and because I'm sure you and I both have similar nights of thought where I'm just wondering, Where does the USDC come from in the USDC ice pool? But it comes from the treasury. They are constantly adding to it, and the DAO still grows in size. The DAO keeps growing, the pool stays the same, and it's been months and nothing. It's remained stable. Isn't it insane that throughout these price crashes, the price of ice has stayed exactly the same, even through the crash? That's insane to me. I've been watching in awe. Every time I check CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, ice is right there at 12 cents. All right. We're still 11 cents, 12 cents. We're still
when
good.
you look, do you just have this part of you inside that's like, yes.
Every time I'm immune to the dips. I have that luxury of knowing that if the market dips 50%, my NFTs are worth more than my initial investment. Like that's insane to me. Just the poker NFTs are like my initial investment in crypto in general.
That's right.
Like I could not have more confidence, and I could not feel giddier looking at the price of DG. Actually, I didn't even point this out throughout the dip. DG has gone up. Like we're just waiting for this this smaller bear trend that we're in to reverse, and like you'll be happy if you're on the ride, is all I'll say. You and I are going to be sitting holding hands and riding to the moon.
Absolutely. So I want to also point out one thing, and then I actually want to jump into some poker strategy because you are a poker player. But one thing I do want to point out too is let's also look at what happens when you do set a gold standard. And I want to go back to the League of Legends example because it's a great example. In the beginning, they were so focused on making that one model work, and they did. Okay, and they did, and it's proven. But now look what's happening from that initial success.
Okay.
They are now launching additional games. You have Valorant. You have an MMORPG coming. They also have other games. I mean, they have like TFT and their auto battler and their card game and so on and so forth. But they also just penetrated the Netflix market with Arcane.
Oh, Arcane, right? Yeah, it did come out. Yeah.
And so they're also all over the esports scene. And so what we have to think about is we're so early on. We're so early on. We're literally like in the mid 1900s when Las Vegas was just being created. And we are the gold standard for that.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when the whole market goes up? What happens when everybody realizes what's actually going on? What happens when we not only can double down on everything we're currently doing, but we have the ripple effect of success, a badass team knowing how to build these things, and then we can keep expanding? What happens at that point? I'll tell you exactly what happens. We go to the fucking moon.
We go to the fucking moon. We go to the fucking moon is right. Honestly, 5 years from now, we could have Magnus and Nakamura playing play to earn chess on the DG ecosystem. I am honestly
that's
to
right.
the fucking moon, and that's what I mean. Is so many games when this model is proven, and I'm obviously a huge believer, but I'm also a rationalist, and that it takes time to convince people, and nothing better convinces people than a project that's lasted for a long time.
That's right.
So when this does explode, there's so many directions they can take this successful model.
Also, I just want to point out, it is a we. It is a we. We're all in this together.
We are. It is a we. It is a we. Yeah, we're a true community here in DG. I mean, I've met people not by name, I guess, but I've formed some real friendships just through the DG community. People are really involved and want to see everyone else succeed as well. Which is kind of funny when you contrast it like to if you play poker live. I mean, it's a zero-sum game, and there have to be losers for them to be winners, but I don't feel that way at all in DG. Yeah, you can get salty when you get unlucky or whatever, but really everyone at the tables online every day is winning, quite frankly.
That's
Um,
right.
so there's a non-competitiveness that is unusual for poker in the community. People are really there to see each other succeed, and everyone wants to see how well you're doing. Um, it's really a beautiful thing. And
That's right.
I'm so excited just to see the future of DG. I wish I could just look and just see what it's going to be like in 5 years, because the possibilities are endless. Like I just mentioned, play to earn chess. That's just a far out example. They could be play to earn anything. They could have 5 million employees, right? Like it's so hard to overstate how huge this could be.
I
And
agree.
they've really stumbled. I shouldn't say stumbled, but they've really built something that is special here at
And
DG,
ag-
honestly.
and again, I think it's a we, because
I
we
say
have
that,
built
yeah.
something
They have.
special.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
We
Yeah, I
have,
mean,
because we're all in this together.
I
We
like
hold
that.
we hold the tokens. We're a
Mhm.
part of this thing. We're all in this together. So that means we're all going up together.
I vote
Uh,
I vote on the DAO initiatives. I mean, I'm always keeping an eye on it because I wanna stay involved in the ecosystem in every way I can, really.
that's right.
Um, yeah, so it really is a we, and I should, try to make that mental change, because it's more of an us and a we and a community that is becoming the strongest part of DG. As strong as the tokenomics are, it really is the people that are putting it all together, and, they should be applauded for that. All of us should just give ourselves a pat on the back. If you're a part of the DG ecosystem at this point in time, you're gonna make it, honestly. So, good on
Absolutely.
you for being here.
Especially with the strategies you gave us earlier. I
Mhm.
mean, how many people are literally willing to break down like, okay, this is what you have to do.
Right.
This is what I've done. This is how it's worked for me. Let's rock and roll. That really
Here.
doesn't happen. It's
I
very,
hope it
very
makes
rare.
someone out there a lot of money, honestly, and I'm not gonna be surprised if I see my diamond hands start getting undercut left and right, because, it's I right when I thought about it, I was like, "This is just too good. This is too good to be true," and then I did it once, twice, 3 times. I'm like, "I can't believe this is happening." So, best of luck to anybody out there who's going for it, because, it's something that's worth putting the time into. It's worth putting the mental effort. It's worth putting your time. It's worth your time. Quite frankly, that's the
Absolutely.
most important thing to me, and it has always been, is my own personal time, and this is worth it for me,
Agreed.
which says a lot. It's more than I can say about most things in my life, quite frankly. So
Well, that's a
yeah,
beautiful thing in and of itself. And the
it is.
fact that you can also get wealthy at the same time, it's
Hmm.
that's what life's about. So
Hmm.
let's hop into and we're getting close to time here, but let's
Oh
hop into
shit!
some poker strategy
Sure.
real
Yeah, hit me
quick.
with some.
Um, let's talk about
Hmm.
how you think about it from a mental model. Are
Okay.
you thinking in bets? Are you thinking about expected value, making EV plus
Right.
decisions? Are you
Right. Right.
doing
Right.
math? Are you feeling it out? How are you approaching this?
Okay, so yes to those questions, but those are more of I don't really think about them like that anymore, because it's kind of second nature to me. Like I know, like there's just certain things that are helpful to know. Like, for this is a good one. If you have an open-ended straight on the flop, you have about an 11-12% chance to hit that by the river. Things like that. If you have a flush draw on the flop, if you're for the flush, you have about a 25% chance, 30% chance to hit that. And just knowing rough numbers like that, just having a few of those in your pocket, and suddenly you are able to make such better decisions. So yeah, I am thinking about those, even though I think that exploitative play is a little stronger in DG, as in contrast to a live poker setting.
What does
I
that
think
mean? Can you break that down?
I can break that down. So Exploitative play is more about if I see someone folding over and over and over for 30 minutes straight, and then suddenly they raise on the flop,
They got
I
something.
know that they have a big hand. That is exploited. It's more specific play. So it's not like there's two ways you can think about it. You can try to go for the play that works the best on every. It's the best strategy for any person. Or you can do the exploitative where it's like you're mentally taking notes at the table. Like this guy does this. This guy, like so many of the strategies people are just locked into. Okay, so they bet half pot on the flop when they have top pair. That is
Mhm.
just it's so common. People
Yeah.
will not mix up their bet sizes whatsoever. And that is one thing that we're going to see change over the next few months is people are going to start confusing you with their bet sizings, and because it's just
Too predictable.
it's too predictable and it's not optimal at all. And sometimes I just laugh when I'm playing because some of these people, it's clear they don't know quite what they're doing yet because poker is hard.
Right.
And I mean, I just happen to grow up playing it, and so it's kind of just second nature to me. But to other people, and plenty of people I know in real life too, they just don't think about it like that. So there's a lot of frustration when people do things that don't make sense and they still win. Poker is that it's a game where you can do everything right and lose, and you can do everything wrong and win. It is truly a
It's r
unforgiving
it's
game.
wild.
It
It's
is
wild.
wild. It is wild. So, like today, I had insane run good. Just uh, ace high flush against king high flush. It just happens. It just happens. So some days you're gonna run good, some days you're gonna run bad, but in general, I think exploitative play and keeping a close eye on your opponents at the table is what's gonna set you apart because people aren't doing that. Um, People aren't paying attention like they should, which makes sense because they're not putting money on the table. When you're playing real poker and you have a grand on the table, you don't want to lose that $1,000. But
You're
with
hawking everyone at the table.
I am making mental notes of everything. This guy coughed after he bet, like exactly, just literally taking notes on everything. And in DG, it's a little different. Like sometimes people will bet and then their avatar will do this. Like they're looking over at you to see how you're reacting, So and then uh sometimes you can take that any way you want. You can is this person nervous, are they anxious? There's a lot of human habits that can still be, you can still sniff out those human habits. Oh, this person bet instantly, this person bet uh, this person waited till the last second and then bet. Like little human habits people tend to repeat, and then it's just a matter of being more observant than your opponents. um Poker is a game of little edges. You're never going to
Mhm.
find the golden ticket that's going to make you a better poker player than everyone else, but you'll find 5 or 6 little advantages that you can take. And when those situations come up that those advantages matter, you're going to feel really good. You're going to feel really, really good about it because that's when the true skill of poker. I will go to my grave. Poker is a game of skill,
That's right.
but it also involves a lot of luck. But it is
Mhm.
a game of skill. So there are things you can do to be better. And there's tons of poker content out there. If you guys are interested in genuinely learning to get better, I'd recommend checking out some poker vlogs on YouTube. Brad Owen, Rampage Poker. I watch these guys every day just because I love poker. But you'll learn so much just from watching them play, and they will break down their thought processes. So if I know there's poker vloggers in almost every country too. So that is a great resource for the amateur player who doesn't want to focus, or like study, like, oh, that's such a grind, having to study just to play a game. But just watch their videos on YouTube. They're already entertaining. It's fun to watch people either win or lose a lot of money when it's not yours, that's always
Right.
fun. So it's and then you get to learn and hopefully make 20-40% more ice.
That's right.
Who knows? It could come back to you in a very real way, just learning a few things. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I think that's my number one advice to anyone this is their first experience with poker, is just try to consume a little poker content. And you're going to be, after you've consumed 2-3 hours of poker content, you're going to be miles ahead of the average player, and they'll catch up, and they will catch up, but you'll have a few months of being way ahead. And just consume some content. It's out there.
Love it.
There. Yeah.
Love it. So, Crypto Neighbor, I so thank you for coming on the show today. I want to wrap us up here soon.
Let's do it.
But I do have two quick things that I do want to ask you.
Sure.
If you could give some advice or kind of have like a request for what you would like to see from the DG team, maybe a shout out on what the core team's doing well that you want to see more of, and
Okay.
things that you'd like to see in the future, and then at the end I kind of want to see, like, from your perspective, if you could give a quick start guide to somebody who knows nothing about this ecosystem, how to go from just a complete rando who has no idea what they're doing to you can make your first dollar with DG. So let's do some really good feedback here, and then we'll go to the quick start.
Okay. Well, one of my number one things that I love seeing is how active Miles in particular is. He truly is the face of DG right now. And it's hard to understate or overstate. I've said that so many times, but it is such an important thing to have a smart, vocal figurehead in the community, a pillar, truly a pillar of the community. That is huge. So, just having such direct involvement and communication from the DG team, like I mentioned earlier, that Q1 report that I read just a few days ago, I loved it. It gave me such a good feeling about DG. The quite frankly, blatant transparency. It is everything is just out there. And that is one of my favorite things about DG, is how strong their community outreach is. That is got to be one of my favorite things about DG, and I hope that never goes away, because that is so important to me personally, but also I know to other potential investors and people who are already involved in the community. All of us, I'm sure, are really thankful to them as a team, for building this, but also for continuing to care about what the people think about it, what us as a community think about it. So that is probably my number one. That was your first question, right? Just the feedback on what the DG team is doing well, in my opinion, right? That's number one, easy. And just I would say keep going. Just the amount of work that they put in. That's number two. They're doing everything right, and the most important thing is just the transparency to the community, and I love it.
Awesome. And then let's wrap up here with a quick start guide. Somebody going from knowing nothing, having nothing, to like doesn't even have any ETH or anything.
No crypto at all.
Yeah, no crypto. How do you make your first dollar with DG?
How do you make your first dollar? Actually, this is a much shorter guide than it would be for any other cryptocurrency, because all you have to do is go onto the Discord, find a delegator. There's an ever expanding list of people who are looking to delegate to someone. And you might think that when you look at first, oh, like there's so many people ahead of me in line. trust me, your time will come sooner than you think, because people are I know, not me personally. I got really lucky with my delegators, but I see Twitter threads all the time looking for delegators, looking on Discord threads. Hey, anyone looking for it? Even though there's a full list, people are still looking for that one-on-one connection. So I'd keep your eyes open. First of all, get on Twitter, check out some Twitter threads. Just look up DG, get involved in that, and you're gonna find someone. I'd say within 2 days. There's so many people out there, and once you have that delegation, you're already 60% of the way there. Just play solid poker, do your best, stay in contact with whoever is delegating to you, first and foremost, so they know that you're still out there and kicking. But once you have that delegation, I mean, that's an unprecedented way to get started with zero money down. I don't think there's any other ecosystem that you can put zero money down and start building real wealth. I almost feel like that was too short, but it's really that simple. You get your delegation, and that is the foothold that you need to grab onto. That's the foothold that's going to start you up the mountain. Honestly, if
Game
you
on.
truly have nothing, then you are in the best spot. You are unbelievably lucky to have found this as your first place to begin in crypto. This is like, if I had nothing, I would be forever grateful that someone directed me to this, because I can build from home. I don't want to. I'm sure anyone else has looked up ways to make money from home and like on your computer. They are abysmal. Like, fill out surveys for 8 hours and we'll send you a $25 Amazon gift card. Honestly, though, and you can do this for a few hours and make almost $100 a day in a few hours. Do that, you're making almost 40 grand a year off of one delegation. If you're an insane player, $100 would be a high amount for a low level delegation, obviously, but yeah,
Right on.
get started ASAP is my next piece of advice. If you really want to get in crypto and you're worried about putting money into it in the first place, because that's kind of how it's natural for people to be hesitant to put their money that they earned at a job into something that they might not truly understand. So this is I can't recommend it to new people enough. Honestly, this is the place. This is the
Love it.
community. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're the man. Thank you very
Hey.
much, Crypto Neighbor.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the first guest of Decentral Gamer. This has been absolutely amazing. Love the hat. Love the hat. Love everything you were saying.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, the absolute man. So, I just want to thank you again for coming on the show, for being a part of this. I want to thank everybody who's listening and watching for being a totally badass decentral gamer. Y'all, we're in the good old days. You're gonna look back, and these are those days that you're gonna think about.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
It is.
Oh my God, it's true. It's true.
It's true. It's true.
It is. Here we are. I hope I'm here on episode 100. Honestly. So
I think we can make that happen.
I want it to happen. And honestly, thank you for having me, because this has been a blast. I've had so much fun. Honestly.
Right on.
So,
you're the man. Yeah. Everybody who's watching and listening, thank you so much. We're doing this live. If you love it, let us know, and more will come. We're going to do this if the community really loves it. So keep it coming. Let us know. And good luck out there, everyone. Decentral Gamers, I will see y'all on the next episode.
Later, guys.